Welcome to today's deep dive. You look at a $15 billion institutional financial asset, and you expect this really serious origin story.
Right, like dense white papers or, guys in venture capital boardrooms.
Exactly. You definitely do not expect an internet parody that, famously funded the Jamaican bobsleigh team.
Yeah, that is a wild start for an asset.
It really is. But looking through this massive 2013 to 2026 analytical report on DogeCoin, we want to give you a shortcut today to understanding how this satirical meme somehow morphed into a heavily regulated Wall Street ETF.
Because beneath that dog logo, there is some serious machinery keeping this network alive.
Yeah, it's kind of like finding a Ferrari engine inside a toy car.
That is actually a great analogy. It really is a feat of engineering survival. DogeCoin is built to move. It has a 1-minute block time.
Which makes it, 10 times faster than Bitcoin?
Exactly, yeah.
So that's like the difference between standing awkwardly at a coffee shop register for an hour waiting for a payment to clear versus just grabbing your cup and walking out.
Right. But the only way a network that fast survives, especially one born as a joke, without being relentlessly attacked, is its security model. So DogeCoin utilizes merged mining with Litecoin. Since both networks share the same script algorithm, miners can process blocks for both chains at the exact same time.
So they're not expending extra energy to do it.
Right. DogeCoin essentially just piggybacks on Litecoin's massive industrialized hash rate.
Which is pulling down 2.7 petahash. So it is virtually immune to a 51% attack.
Yes, exactly.
But wait, there's a structural contradiction here. You have this incredibly secure, fast network, but miners are minting 10,000 new coins every single minute.
Ah, yeah, the famous infinite supply.
Right. Doesn't conventional market logic say that constant selling pressure from an infinite supply should just inherently crush the price into nothing?
Well, that infinite supply narrative is easily the most misunderstood part of the network's economics. Yes, there is no 21 million hard cap like Bitcoin, but the annual issuance is actually a fixed 5.25 billion coins.
Which fundamentally changes the whole inflation dynamic.
Right.
It's like pouring a 5-gallon bucket of water into a bathtub. You notice the water level rise immediately.
Yeah.
But if you pour that exact same bucket into a swimming pool a year later, the impact is mathematically negligible.
That's a perfect way to put it. Because that 5.25 billion issuance is a static number, not a compounding percentage. The actual inflation rate mathematically drops every single year.
As the total supply grows.
Right. It's structurally disinflationary.
Wow.
Yeah, and that design brilliantly mirrors traditional fiat currency expansion. By maintaining this predictable, slowly degrading inflation rate, it penalizes hoarding.
Which is basically Bitcoin's main use case right now.
Exactly. And instead, it incentivizes you to actually spend and circulate the currency.
Okay, but to absorb that daily miner inflation, the network still required continuous massive demand.
Oh, absolutely.
And that demand arrived from the most unlikely combination of entities, the SEC and Wall Street.
Yeah. The regulatory pivot in February 2025 changed everything. So the SEC issued this landmark ruling stating that meme coins fail the Howey test.
Wait, how does that work legally?
Well, the logic is fascinating because there is no central corporate issuer there's no CEO or board making promises of future development buyers, can't have a reasonable expectation of profit based on the efforts of others.
So the SEC basically categorized it as a digital collectible rather than an unregistered security.
Exactly.
And Wall Street requires that absolute regulatory clarity to build financial products, right?
Right. They need to avoid compliance lawsuits.
Yep.
So this gave institutions the green light.
Which directly paved the way for the TDOG spot ETF launching on the NASDAQ in January 2026.
Yeah, they literally took an internet joke and wrapped it in a highly regulated institutional vehicle.
It's crazy. But Wall Street validation is one thing. How is it actually being used by everyday people globally?
Yeah.
Because you were mentioning the utility on the ground earlier, or, above it.
Yeah, the space-age utility is wild. The DogeCoin Foundation's Radio Doge initiative is a perfect example.
Oh, right.
They are combining high-frequency radio technology with the Starlink satellite network. So users in remote, unbanked regions can transmit transactions via radio waves to a regional hub.
And then that hub beams the data to a satellite.
Exactly.
Right.
Settling the transaction offline and completely bypassing unstable local telecom grids.
So you are literally sending dog money to space to buy groceries.
Basically, yeah.
That is incredible. And we're seeing this functional utility translate into the corporate world, too. Major brands like Tesla and Air Baltic accept it natively now.
Right. And it's not just some marketing gimmick anymore.
No, because of the low fees and fast settlement times, these multinational corporations can route global payments directly to their balance sheets.
Using third-party processors that instantly convert DOGE to fiat.
Exactly. It completely eliminates Forex friction and international credit card fees. And if you add the upcoming such app, which is rolling out the Hustle's microcommerce marketplace, you have a genuinely global payment rail.
It really forces a reevaluation of what we consider sound money. We've watched this 2013 joke evolve through surprisingly resilient disinflationary economics.
Yeah.
It climbed the highest regulatory hurdles precisely because it lacked corporate leadership, and now it's enabling space-based transaction tech.
Right, which leaves you with a pretty fundamental question to wrap up this deep dive. If a decentralized meme with no CEO can secure a NASDAQ ETF and beam offline transactions from orbit, does money actually need intrinsic value?
That is a big question.
Or is collective community belief the only backing a modern currency actually requires? Maybe that Jamaican bobsleigh team was just the opening act of a very weird, very real financial revolution.